Hello. Welcome to episode 1 of Major Decisions, Minor Chaos. If you watched the episode 0, I am your host, Brianna Bailey, MSMED. And so, last episode, I just kind of introduced a little bit about myself just to tell you why I'm qualified and tell you what the podcast is going to be about. So, we're really going to focus on higher education here in all its many forms, but mostly it's really post-secondary education, right? So post high school, what's the plan, right? So let's dive in a little bit more into me, and only because, and this will be the only time I really share my testimony, only because I had a very interesting journey in education. And so we're going to start with my high school experience and my exposure to college. Okay, so we're going to delve into that. We're going to delve into my decision making and into picking a college. Once I was there, what occurred, what happened, who did I talk to, what were the issues, what concerns, what were the great parts about it, and kind of how it all led to me being here. Okay, so that is kind of where we're at right now, and this is how this episode's gonna go. So please listen, and hopefully you can find some gems into my educational journey. Now, again, we're going to be talking about the new landscape of education. I am pre-COVID, but there are still so many of the same issues when I was in college that are still happening today and things that have changed. But we're just going to have this conversation and see if maybe you had a similar way of getting to college, making decisions, seeing how these similar minor chaos that maybe occurred in your life, and maybe you don't want that for your child, or um, you're going back to school and maybe that's the reason why you're hesitant. So we're going to have this conversation. You can see kind of how I came through it. Let's just start with my high school experience here. First of all, as a young child, education was kind of pushed on me a little bit more. My parents went into the military right out of high school. So I did not get the 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 gap year conversation was not an option. It's like work, school, work and school. You figure out where you want to go with this, right? So there was that. And so I knew I loved education. I was always an avid learner. I always wanted to absorb more knowledge and things of the sort. So I knew college was the goal. And my parents, knowing that of me, pushed that. That was their thing for me. Not as much as that for my brother. Did not like school, extremely intelligent, did not like school. They did not push that on him. That was an option for him, and that was about it. This is where my parents went with that. They knew their kids very well. So, going into my junior year, but the junior year checklist, and it was this long list of these are the things as a junior now that you need to do. Um, I was going through something mentally that my parents were unaware of, emotionally that I even think my friends even were aware of. And it was different. It wasn't like depression in a sense where you just shut down. It was in a way where I was this doing this, da 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 da, but I'm sleeping in class and I'm not studying. And this is coming from someone who's an avid learner, so I'm just failing classes left and right. So I'm starting off this junior year, this huge junior year. You gotta get your grades up. You gotta keep it up. Da 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 da. This is when colleges are looking. I wasn't doing too good. Wasn't doing very well. I was trying to find something and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I just was in a space. I was in a different school environment. I went from a more diverse environment to a now very homogeneously white environment, right? So I just was like a fish out of water. And I had friends and I had a group of people that I really, I was, gravitating towards. I was a cheerleader, I was on the step team, I was on track, whatever the case may be, right? I was joining all the clubs. I was all over the place. I was distracting myself. And then I got focused. And I said, you know what? I need to get out of here. But the only way to do that is to go to college. I know I want to go to school, so this is where I'm going, right? So I buckled down. I finished the second half of my junior year strong. I was going to start my senior year, and I started hearing my friends like, wow, in this class we were talking about this about college and that about college and this about college. Now, my dad already had his undergraduate degree. He got his bachelor's from the University of Phoenix when I was in elementary school. And then somewhere in my early in high school years, my dad got his master's. So my dad had a college degree. My mother had some college courses that she's taken with her job and everything. But yeah, I just didn't have experience. I didn't have that familial capital where I can really draw from college in very specific ways. And my friends who are part of Avid, and I just love this program. If you're a parent or guardian who has a student who has Avid in their school, if you're able to get in, look, I had to beg and plead and steal and whatever, right? But I had to practically beg the teacher to take me on, because they usually start earlier, not your senior year. But yeah, I getting into Avid. So please reach out to your institution, your high school institution, and see if they have it. And I had my English teacher, who was also my Avid teacher. So I saw her twice a day, all senior year, and I learned how to note take for different subjects, the different types of note taking. I didn't even know there was a thing, right? And believe me, college students today have no clue. So it's nice to know these things in the back of your mind. We talked about filling out college applications. We had a conversation about how to choose a major. All the things that we're going to talk about here, honestly, um, at a very lighter level. I'm going to be a little more blunt on some things. But Miss Green, Miss Becky Green, if you're out there, love you, boo, really helped me navigate, and my parents helped me. She helped my parents navigate FAFSA applications, right? We really tried hard, and she helped me through. We had assignments of pick your top 5 and why you want to go there, and we wrote personal statements, and she edited them, and so we really got a deep dive into things. We had people who graduated from my high school, who went to college, came back and told their stories, and I did the same. My freshman year of college, I came back and I told my story. Like, do you know they pay for Cantrons? Look, that's the whole thing. So, it was nice to give back in that sense. But that was my high school exposure to college in a sense, my upbringing to that point. When it came to actually picking a college, mm, that one my parents and I fought a little bit on. We didn't agree. Let's talk about it. My top 5 choices were all out of the state. Not one of them were in California. This is where I live, right? Not one of them are in California. So I was like, well, my mom and parents like, oh, you go to San Diego State. All my friends were going to San Diego State. Everybody I knew was going to Northridge. Everyone I knew was going to USC. Everyone I know was going to, um, oh my gosh, it was just like Fullerton. There was just so many LA, San Diego. Everybody I knew was going to those schools. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be in middle school over again. I didn't want to be in high school over again. Was that probably a better decision for me thinking back on it? Yes, probably. This is sometimes you have to listen to your parents. But I wanted to get as far away as I could, as best as I could, because I just wasn't feeling comfortable. Again, I did not speak to my parents about how I was feeling. I did not have a conversation about my mental state at the time. I didn't even know how to articulate those things. And so with that, I was not in the headspace to give them a reason to say no to them and what they wanted. But I knew I wanted to go to an HBCU. Hands down, I wanted to go. And an HBCU is so historically Black college university. I just knew I wanted to be in that environment where I could see myself and be supported. And I wanted pre-med. I can get out of this environment and go to an environment that I know would work for me. And my mom was like, you say where? I said, Howard. Oh, no. No, no, no. You're going to college at 17. I was like, yeah, for 3 months. Oh, no. That's not gonna work. Okay, well, w- but 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 it's just the school for me. I just know it's the school for me, and it's my number one school. Okay, what about Ohio State? I know it's not a HBCU, but it's a big school, and I know I can do well, and it's somewhere far. And oh no, absolutely not. It's too far. No, no, no. Okay, so the Midwest won't work either. All right, well, what else can't I do? The other schools on my list were all HBCUs on the East Coast or the South, and my mom was definitely not, absolutely not. So I had to stay in California. So my new top 5 were all California state schools. Now I could apply to UC and I might have gotten in. My GPA, even with the bad junior year, was still really high, and had a lot of extracurriculars, and I was actually a really good student overall. I just knew I'd be successful in college, and so I was like, "You know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where I go, as long as it's a good science program that's gonna prepare me for pre-med," and I knew this is what I wanted to do, and here we are. I'm an academic advisor, so clearly we know there's a disconnect in that end, but I wasn't going where I wanted to go, so I made the best of it, right? I ended up going to a school in Northern California, and I loved my freshman year. My roommate was from Boston area. She was Massachusetts. I had people on my floor that were all different races. We were all science and technology majors in my building. Um, and so shout out to the theme communities because they really do wonders. So if you have an equity type building where it's, you know, Black student unit or Latinx Chicanic student unit or science unit or social science unit, these are great for finding a sense of belonging because we were in classes together. I literally shared a math book with someone on the floor below me because we both didn't want to pay for this textbook that we'll use for one semester. So we literally shared a textbook for a year, and it was great. So yeah, it was a wonderful time in dorms. I really enjoyed my dorm experience. I really had a great time in meeting new people. Their families would send care packages that we all got to eat, which was great. And my mom even stayed over and throughout the years would pop in once a year and make food for people. So we really had a family, a close-knit family in that small dorm, and I really appreciated that experience. It made me really enjoy college in the beginning. And then pre-med took a turn because I could not pass this class that I actually needed. I knew my prospects for getting into medical school would be thwarted by my grades and my GPA at the time. My parents were going through a separation situation. My brother lived on his own and was doing his own thing, so I felt like I was alone. I was kind of just out here blowing in the wind, trying to figure out my next move and what do I do? And I'm calling my mom on my first F, like, oh God, I failed that final. I just know I failed it. What do I do now? And it's just I felt so lost. And my parents can only help me so far. So this is where the interesting part is, right? When it comes to resources. First generation college students, you have EOP. It's the Equal Opportunity Program. It's a wonderful, wonderful program if you are a first generation college student, right? Please, please get your EOP advisor. Get as many advisors as you can get in college because they have so much help in their resources. They're just given all of these pockets of things and they can really detail and help them when they're struggling. And it's a great gap. It's that bridge that bridges that gap for those who don't have that familial capital. Well, because my dad had 2 degrees, I don't fit the mold of first generation college student, but I had first generation problems. And that's where it gets tricky because my dad got both of his degrees online where his advisors put him in classes. He never had to deal with a bursar's office to pay for parking and whatever else. He didn't have to find parking on campus and have to move your car. Let's just say I probably still owe my mama parking tickets. Okay. I realized my parents didn't have to deal with registration problems and sitting there waiting for registration to hit because you are okay. My registration time is at 2:30. I'm in the middle of the class. Forget what she said to say. I got to get into this one course. My dad didn't have to worry about that. So all these little struggles I didn't have to worry about. And everything was expensive. Again, my parents were going through a separation. I didn't want to ask them for money. All these things were happening. And so I didn't want to be a burden. So I had to start working. And I worked a lot. I worked a couple of jobs, a few jobs. I went from being a traditional student to a very non-traditional student, if you will, because I couldn't go to the regular class schedules. I had to work to pay bills. And once I left campus, because it was costing me an arm and a leg from loans, I had to pay rent. So throughout my college experience, I switched gears, I figured it out, and then I had an advisor in my major who was confused why I had to work so much, as if it was a foreign idea that I had to pay bills in college. And the funny thing is, the woman actually asked me, "Do you want this bad enough?" Well, of course I want it bad enough. I'm not owing the government both my kidneys and a liver and having to pay private loans in the future just because I'm doing it for funsies. No, of course not. I want this, but I also have to eat and have a roof over my heads. And so this is before the time now where they have basic needs centers. Dropping a resource dime right now for those of you in college, for those of you who are parents out there who are sending their children to college. Most institutions have basic needs centers. Please, if you are struggling with housing and you're just not sure how your child is going to find it, please go to a basic needs housing. If you are a child who maybe was in foster care, there are resources to get into college, and they do have basic needs centers to help with food insecurities. Okay, so please, if you are struggling, your parents are across the country, you can't help them, they can't help you, and you don't know where to live, how to eat, how to function with your basic needs met, please find the resources on your campus. Your tuition is actually paying for it. We did not have that during my college experience, but they have those now. And so this is one of those gems of new age education post COVID. We have all of these resources. I had access to the health center. I was paying for it, right? Our mental health in the health center was very small. We had one person. They're always booked. Could never get in. And it wasn't as big now, where now you have 4 to 5 counselors at a big schools. Um, so, again, another resource, please utilize the mental health resources on your campus if you're struggling, if your parents are going through something, you're dealing with the death in the family, whatever you need to get through and to talk to someone, there are resources on campus. Okay. So please, do that. The new landscape of student, the new type of student now, again, if you watch episode 1, I mentioned it, it's a really high level of mental health challenges and concerns that are happening now with, these students. Colleges are becoming more equipped for that. So I didn't have that kind of support. I didn't have EOP. My advisor had no idea who I was and did not care about my path to college. And so I just took that little map that they give you to say, if you take this class and you pass this, you take that, and this, you take that, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just highlighting away like, oh, so I did take that class, but then this class is only available in fall. Okay, well, it's fall now, and so I can't take it next semester. So then I got to take it the next year. Oh, I can't get in. Oh, I got to wait another year. Well, I can't get in. Oh, in another year. So just know that was a very difficult experience for me, college. My undergraduate experience was difficult. And again, I went in and I was an avid learner in high school. Grades were good, joint clubs, this, that, da 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 da. Couldn't do Greek life because I had to work 2, 3 jobs. I couldn't, and my grades were going downhill because I was taking on so much, but school was taking a back burner because I just wasn't even into it as much anymore, and I just wanted to get out of there. And my mom said something to me my last year of college, which was later than all my other friends that was in the dorms with. That sense of community that I had to build a whole new set of community. 'Cause everybody I knew graduated, left school, they're done. So I was alone again. So I had to figure something out. And my mom told me something that made a lot of sense. She said, well, closed mouth don't get fed. Who do you got to talk to get out of there? You know what? You're right. Why am I dealing with the same advisor who doesn't like me or doesn't know me or doesn't care about me? I don't know which one it was. And professors were helping and they were trying, but then their only availability was while I had to go to work. So who can I talk to? I said, who's above all of these people? Well, the department chair. So I sat in his office on the first day of my last year. I'm not going to tell you how many years I was in college, but it was a long time. So my last year of college, I sat there and sat there and sat there. And I got in his office and I said, hey, you're my advisor now. This will be my last year. I only have so many classes. I think I'm graduating. I need your help though. And he looked at it. Oh, okay. You took all that. Wait, hold on. Wait. Did you? And he's in my system. He's in the file. He's like, well, okay. Well, you can graduate this year. And I said, like, I'm on the wait list for 3 of my 4 classes as a graduating senior so many times over. And he goes, there's no way. There's no way these people are ahead of you. Give me a second. Guess who's in the class? That was cool. I didn't know somebody had that kind of power. Let's do the second class. Okay, third class. Oh, there he is. You are officially in all the classes that you need to graduate this year. That's all it took. I could have did this last year. So what I'm saying is you have to advocate for yourself. You have to just take a beat, take a moment and say, what do I need? How do I need it? Who can help me? That's it. Because sitting there and just trying to figure it out on your own and suffering in silence is honestly not doing you any favors. And sometimes I get students as an advisor now, and they're just like, I think I know what I'm doing, but I want to just confirm with you. I just wanted to validate myself. Okay, let's validate. I'd rather you come to me and just double check than you floating in the wind thinking you got it because you just that good. Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't do that, especially not in your first couple years of college. Oh, no, 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 no. You don't know anything, boo. You don't. And so, I just wish I had someone to go to in that moment. And so I'm happy that I finally did. And I went over a lot of heads to do it. But I graduated at the end of that year. And it was amazing. And I was really excited. But I was so focused on trying to pay rent. And I was so focused on just trying to get up out of there that I did not prepare for what happened after college. So I got my bachelor's in science and kinesiology. I tried the physical therapy route, occupational therapy route, and it just didn't hit. I lost the passion for it. The classes took too much time outside of school. Outside of class, it was just too much happening in my life outside of school that hindered me from doing what I thought I was meant to do. And then I tried to get into graduate school. I wanted to get my master's in sport management. And I tried a school that was nearby, and my GPA did not cut it. My work experience and working competence didn't have it. No internships, no research, no work experience in the field. Why? Because no one told me that I needed that. I think someone actually needed to tell me. My parents didn't tell me, I didn't have advisors to help me with that. And the chair was just like, I don't normally advise. I haven't done that in years, so let me help you graduate. So I didn't have anyone to say like, oh yeah, I should do this internship and you should do this and work here and that will boost your application since your GPA sucks. Yeah, no. So I fought hard and research schools again. Who's gonna take my GPA? Who has the minimum GPA that I have that I can at least attempt to get in? I didn't have a choice of looking for a school that made sense for me right away. The only parameters that I had for graduate school, because I had strict parameters for my undergrad. I knew exactly the kind of school that I needed to go to. For my graduate program, I was like, I'm going to go wherever it takes me. And has an online capabilities because I had to work full time to pay for my life. And that was it. But it worked out. I went to a phenomenal school. Out of state. It was online, full time. I love my program. I love the people that I was in class with. My professors were great. And one was not too much. And it was a great experience for me. My GPA was really high graduating out of there. But honestly, I only got in because someone took a chance on me. My personal statement was raw and honest. And I basically said, after taking a break from between my bachelor's and my master's, I grew up, I matured, and I realized education means more to me than I thought it did. I was just so tired and over it that it took the passion out of education for me. So I went back to school, and the advisor contacted me directly, and she said, "You're gonna have your first 2 classes with me in the fall. I fought for you, and know that you'll be on probation your first semester, and I'm not gonna go easy on you." I said, "Okay, that's fine with me. As long as I get to learn what I wanna learn, I'm gonna take this seriously. I chose this. It had nothing to do with all the GEs, nothing like that, right? Your master's program is very, like, to the point. This is the things we're trying to learn. This is what we're getting down to, da 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 da." And I crushed it. I got 2 A's in my first semester, off probation. My advisor gave me the kudos, right? I was really, proud of myself. I was working full time and, but I took the time. I really put the effort in. I found my discipline in education again and realized I can do this. And I worked in internships before I graduated. Still couldn't find a job. Who knew? That was the job market thing, right? It just changed. And I realized I found some things in that field that I didn't like, and it was in the education realm instead of the sports realm directly. And so I realized I need to pivot, but still be here. So I got my master's in education, got even a better GPA. In that program, I was working as an athletic advisor, and I utilized both my sport management degree and my education degree as I was finishing my second master's, and I was able to really make a difference and help people. So no, I'm not a doctor. I actually thought I would be an OBGYN and delivering babies. But my purpose was to help people. So I'm doing that. And now in a different form as well. So I'm meant to be here. I'm meant to do what I'm meant to do. Sometimes you just have to pivot, but the first thing to do is understand who you are as a person. Once you do that, you'll be successful. So understand who you are, know your resources. And if you don't know your resources, talk to someone, just one person who knows where the resources are. A lot of times, as a college advisor, I am that one person. So I do the contacting. I'm gonna send you links, but I'm gonna have them talk to you. I'm gonna send the email. I'm gonna send a message. I'm gonna send a some type of report. I'm gonna do something where I know that you'll get the help that you deserve and that you need because you took the courage and the time to talk to me. And I just needed one person to do the same for me. So I didn't have the best advising experience, but in spite of that, I hope that I can be an amazing advisor. Like, I think I'm doing pretty good, I think I'm doing all right. But yeah, I hope you learned something from this experience. This is my little testimony, right? And so I said in episode 0, I want your comments. This is my journey in education, in higher education, and all the things that I'm learning. And this is just going straight to a 4-year, okay? There are so many other testimonies out there who were trying to make the decision between a 4-year and a community college, chose community college, transferred. There's so many testimonies out there about going to a technical school and then learning how to braid hair, going to college and braiding hair in the dorms, making money in college. I have a lot of students who do that, by the way. They got a full esthetician degree doing facials in the dorms. I don't know how they're doing it, but they are killing the game out here. Hustle culture is real in this new generation of student. So understand who you are, learn your resources, ask for help. And you need to keep yourself first. Your mental health is more important than that degree. Sometimes taking a break is probably what I should have done is take a break. Just go home, be with my family while they were going through something, save money, go back to school when I was ready. And I probably would have shaved off another year of college. I probably would have graduated even sooner by taking just 1 year off. So, um, I hope that helped some parents out there. Just know that your student may not be telling you everything, so watch out for the signs. Hope that helps current students out there that you don't need to suffer in silence. It's okay to ask for help. They get paid either way. You come in or you don't. Advisors get paid either way. People on campus get paid either way, right? They're not there to judge you. They're there to help you. That's what they're there for. So please don't suffer in silence. And for prospective students, know your resources going in as much as possible. When you're researching colleges, let that be part of the research. What are my needs? Do they have them? Do they have resources for them? So I hope I got everybody. Now you know a little bit about my story, a little bit more about me. I'm in a better place now, obviously. And so here we are, embarking in the future. So thank you, thank you for being here and listening to this, and hope you come back for more. We're going to dive into no longer about me. I think the next episode is really going to have a lot of people talking, especially our parents. Ooh, you're going to be a little mad at me. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's fine. Let's just have the conversation. So please like, comment, subscribe, and please in those comments, I want to hear the worst advice you ever had. Please don't mention names. Do not mention names. Because I'm not getting anybody in trouble here. But tell me sophomore year, happened, right? Those are coming from my current students. From my guardians out there, tell me about your college experience and your exposure to college. Did you feel lost going in, or did you feel as prepared because your parents knew exactly what to do? And for our prospective students, tell me, are you worried about this next step? How are you feeling? So, thank you for listening. Major decisions, minor chaos. Bye.